Now I'd like to introduce Barry Gilbert. He's our First Nation elder who sits on our committee, and he's going to talk about the water. So I'm passing it to you, Barry. Go ahead,
Okay,
Barry.
I'd like to thank you, Jerry, and the rest of this wonderful team for giving me the opportunity to be part of this. I'd like to open up by saying everybody worries about the earth and the air more than the waters. So I have a question for you to think about. The spirit of the waters has stopped speaking to us, or is it that we have forgotten how to speak to the spirit of the waters? The waters is the creation of life as we all know. That life came from the waters. So with this in mind, let's look at the water for a moment and think what is wrong and what is it that we do not know about our own waters around us. And how is it that it traveled to get here? So come with me on this journey and let's travel together. Take grassy narrows. What is it that has caused cancer with the people and the new forms of it that doctors have never seen? The mercury is so high. Why? The pulp and paper plant causes this by the mercury they dump into the river. The government tells us to boil the water and it is safe. How do you boil mercury out of water? Just think how this water travels by flowing down into the rivers and into Lake Superior. Once there are many more pulp and paper places on both sides of this lake that add to the mercury in the waters. From there it goes into Lake Huron that has its factories that produce medicines and oil and many other chemicals on both sides, as well as pulp and paper. From there you have Lake Michigan. There you have oil companies, automotive, chemical plants that add to the waters. From there you have Lake Erie that is big for steel plants and all kinds of chemicals. Then over the falls to Lake Ontario. Yes, we have all of the above plants on ours too. But we have nuclear energy. Those plants are all over those lakes. And once in a while, they have these spills. Just think, the waters out there that we take in as our drinking water through our taps, what else is in it? As W5 reported, it also has what drugs are in it. This water that is coming through to you to drink, those drugs come along the whole journey from start to finish as well. The three most common drugs used today is diabetes, antidepressant, birth control, and pregnancy drugs. The fact is, they do not know how to remove these drugs from your drinking water, just like the human waste that goes over to Lakeview to the waste place, and again they burn it, that produces mercury in the air. The readings are 19%. Then they go and tell you they have reduced it to 1.9. Yes, it is so easy to reduce it by putting a period between the 1 and the 9. But we know it is safe, or we know that it is at 19%. We are not fooled. Sometimes, like all large cities along the Great Lakes, they dump their waste into the lake, just like it happens here, way out in the lake, as like your drinking water comes way out in the lake as well. I think it is terrible that there are islands of trash floating in the ocean, many miles long, and the garbage of plastic and other floating debris is hurting this planet. Many people think that this is only in the Pacific, but it is also growing islands of trash in the Atlantic. Yes, this plastic breaks down into micro pieces that the fish eat. And when they are caught for your dinner, they have found that these very, very small pieces are all through them, which end up on your dinner plate. Yes, we all have very, very small pieces in us. We are destroying the ocean and ourselves. Even here, at these events during the summer at the parks like Memorial Park along the Credit River, the Rib Fest that gives out that foam hat for the kids and adults. They throw them into the rivers and floats into Lake Ontario. You just see them, and again, we are making an island of garbage. We have asked the city to stop this practice, and again, they keep allowing it. They say, oh yeah, we think that this must stop, but everybody has a good time down here. Yes, votes mean more than protecting our waters. That is why our groups down there in Lakeview have been pushing for a building for the U of T and colleges to have for the studies of the waters. This building is in the construction on the development lands of the old hydro plant lands. They say when it is built that this will be included, but we must make sure it is done. We must make sure we have the freedom to report the truth without them controlling it. I like to read a poem that was written by Chief Stacy R. LaForme, the chief of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who has written a few books that you can buy at Chapters or any of the bookstores. He wrote a poem for the great water walker Josephine. He wrote this and went to see her, and he read it to her. She passed away a few days later. I'd like to share this with you. It's called Walks Forever Woman. I have been called a hero. I have been called crazy. It does not matter what people say, but do not doubt I have been called. I saw the anguish upon the water, the pain, the hurt. I sat in ceremony with tears streaming. I knew I must do something, and so I asked, walk, grandmother, sing, dance, ceremony, but walk. So walk I did for the water, sometimes with others, sometimes alone. I thought that once my first walk was done, I would rest, but again I was called. Walk, grandmother. So I walked, and always upon the end of the walk, I thought, now I rest. But the call is not gone, so I walk. This may be the final time my feet travel the earth, around the water, upon my deathbed. They will say, you have done enough. Rest. I will smile and nod for them. Yet I know I will continue on this journey, for I still feel the call. I still hear the voice. Walk, grandmother. I sometimes wonder why no one hears the voice of the water. Maybe no one who is alive today remembers. So I walk, and you may hear my voice, my drum. You may walk by my side, or you may glimpse my passing. This is not a curse. This is a cause, an honor. I will walk for the spirit of the water. I will walk until duty is not forgotten. I will walk until you walk. For I have learned that the voice says walk, but it means lead. So I will walk until you hear and you answer. So stand, grandmothers, grandfathers, parents, children, stand. For you must stand, and you must stand together. Then you must walk, and I will walk beside you. For even as I pass, I hear the words, walk, grandmother, walk. I'd like to thank you. Chi miigwech nawi.